Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Vishnu Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishora Swaji Mahārāja Ki Jai. Nitil Vishnu Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitil Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Gauriya Guru Vaka Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadasha Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Shri Hairas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Tanyatra Ki Jai. Shri Badri Narayan Opening Day Ki Jai. It's the Badri Narayan Temple. Shri Gauri Vedanta Samiti Stapan Divas Ki Jai. Today is the 80th centennial of the opening of the establishing of Gauri Vedanta Samiti. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Parasharayanti Ki. Today is also the first day of Satya Yuga Ki Jai and of Treta Yuga. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Prem. Shri Danyatra Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ju Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Go. So my internet, oh man, it doesn't seem to be very stable right now, huh? Anyhow, what to do? So I wanted to start the program now. Well, one thing I'm not sure about. On the calendar, it says today is the last day of Kesha Vrat. So that means that we should probably we should sing our Kesha Vrat Kirtans today also, right? I think so. So what we'll do is we'll sing one song to Vaishnav, because our topic is Vaishnav Aparad, which we're going to be reading from Śrīla Bhakti Purī Goswami Maharaj. So we'll sing one Vaishnav Kirtan. And today, just today, we'll sing the two Devashtakam and what's the Keshavashtakam. I didn't really get any preparation time for this because friends just came. I had a guest and he just left now. And so, anyways, I might have to do a little setting up. You might have to wait up for me a little bit. I also wanted to read the article once myself, so that I'm not just reading it the first time with all of you, but I'm like a little bit prepared. But anyhow, I'm going to be reading it for the first time with all of you. Will be. Yeah. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. So yeah, every day I was thinking to do Vaishnava Kirtan. So we'll start with Thakur Vaishnava Pada, and then tomorrow we'll sing Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, and we'll just go through all of them like that. Kripa Koro Vaishnava, Kabe Mor Habe Heno Din, and on. But maybe today, just since it's the first day, also we should sing something to Gurudev. I think that would be good. Let's do that. Which one? We'll just do Gurudev Kripa. And then, so, O Gurudev, O Gurudev, Kripa tu diya, O karo e trinapeksha yatihina. O Gurudev, Kripa bindu diya, O karo e dase trinapeksha yatihina. Sahane mala diya karo, sahane bala diya karo, nija mane sprihahina. Gurudev nija mane sprihahina. O Gurudev, kripa bindu diya karo ye dase trinapeksha atihina. O Gurudev, kripa bindu diya karo ye dase trinapeksha atihina. Sakal sama korite shakati deho nata jata jata. Sakale sama korite shakati deho nata jata jata. Tabe to gaibo Hari nama suke, tabe to gaibo Hari nama suke, aparada habe hata. Gurudev aparada habe hata. Gurudev, kripa bindu diya karo ye dase trinapeksha yatihina. Kave na kripa labhiyaye jan, kritartha hoibe nata. Kave na kripa labhiyaye jan, kritartha hoibe nata. Shakti buddhi ami ati din, Shakti buddhihin ami ati din, karo more atma sata, karo more atma sata. O Gurudev, kripa bindu diya karo ye dase trinapeksha atihina. Jogata vichare kichu nahi paay, tomara karuna sara. Jogata vichare kichu nahi paay, tomara karuna sara. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya, karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya, prana na prana na rakhiyo yara. Karuna na kandiya kandiya, prana na rakhiyo prana rakhiyo. dase tena pesha adihin Gurudev kripa bindu diya karo e dase tena pesha adihin jaya Gurudeva jai Gurudeva Gurudeva jai Gurudeva jaya Gurudeva 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 jai Gurudeva. Thakur Vaishnava Pada. Just checking, is it actually still working? Okay, I think so. The lotus feet of venerable Vaishnavas are the greatest treasure in the world. O brother, please listen with rapt attention. Shri Krishna never forsakes one who, having taken shelter of the Vaishnavas, lovingly worships him. All others perish without purpose. There is nothing more powerful than the water that is at the feet of a Vaishnava to give strength to attain prema bhakti. There is no other greater ornament than the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava to serve as the ornament for one's head. The purifying qualities of water from holy places are written in the Puranas, but all this cheats one of the wealth of bhakti. Actually, the water from holy places is not as purifying as the water that has washed the feet of Vaishnavas, by which one's desires are fulfilled. This is by Narottam Das Thakur, by the way. The heart feels joyful at every moment in the company of Vaishnavas, where topics of Krishna are always discussed. With a restless heart, Narottam Das Thakur cries, "Why have I been torn from their association?" Okay. O Thakur Vaishnava Pada Ayavanira Susampara. Should we do it together? Yeah, call a response. O Thakur Vaishnava Pada Avanira Susampara. Shuno bhai hoya eka man. Shuno bhai hoya eka man. Ashraya loya bhaje Hare Krishna Hitaje Ashraya Loya Bhaje Hare Krishna Nahitaje Arasava More Akarana Arasava Vaishnava Charana Ja Prema Bhakti Dite Pa O Vaishnava Charana Ja Prema Bhakti Dite Pa Aar ke ho nahe bala Aar ke ho nahe bala vanta Vaishnava charana renu mastake bhushana vinu Vaishnava charanu mastake bhushana vinu har nahi bhushanera anta har nahi anta তীর্থ জল পবিত্র গুণে লিখিয়াছে পুরাণে তীর্থ জল পবিত্র গুণে লিখিয়াছে পুরাণে শেষ ভক্তির প্রবঞ্চনা শেষ ভক্তির প্রবঞ্চনা वैष्णव्योदक समान है सब वैष्णवेर पदोदक समान है वैष्णवेर पदोदक समान है सब वैष्णवेर पदोदक समान है सब जाते होय वंचित पुरा जाते होय वंचित पुरा वैष्णव संगीते मान आनंदित यानुक्षण वैष्णव संगीते मान आनंदित यानुक्षण सदा होय कृष्ण परसंग सदा हो परसंग दीन नरोत्तम कांदे हिय धैर्य नाही बांधे दीन नरोत्तम कांदे हिय धैर्य नाही बांधे मोर दशा केन होइल भंगा मोर दशा केन होइल भंगा दीन नरोत्तम कांदे हिय धैर्य नाही बांधे दीन नरोत्तम कांदे हिय धैर्य नाही बांधे मोर दशा केन होइल भंगा मोर दशा केन होइल भंगा जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर की जय Alright, I think we'll sing no, we'll read now and then we'll sing the Vrindadev Ashtakam and Keshav Ashtakam after and then we'll do Mahamantra and then tomorrow and the day after and after that next 10 days after you guys can request a song and we can sing that. So this is a very special as I mentioned before, I read it once a very long time ago when I was young. So I don't remember it. Every story was on the topic of Vaishnav, like was told a different story illustrating an offense to Vaishnav, the danger and effect of committing aparadha to Vaishnavas. The first chapter is Ambarish Maharaj. The next one is about Haridas Thakur and the liberation of the prostitute, and Chandra Khan. And then Mahadev Shiva at Sati's sacrifice, Sri Narad Muni and the sons of Daksha, Sri Garuda, can't remember which way is there. Anyhow, and then Shiva's Pandit, and then Book Bhagavat and Bhakta Bhagavat, Advaita and Sachimata, and Vaishnava Aparad, the path of spiritual caution. spiritual suicide, Guru Aparad. After spiritual suicide, Guru Aparad. I also have the Bengali book here. Actually, this Bengali book, I haven't read it all yet. I read part of it. But it's in different order. That's interesting. Because in this Bengali internet's a bit, dang it. About that. It's better now, huh? Okay, let me try guys, just wait for me 1 second. I'm going to write this guy. Internet. Oops. Okay. There. Hopefully we'll see what the problem is. Okay. Oh my God, it's not better than that. It's getting 0.06 download. That's terrible. You can hear, huh? All right. That's awful though. 0.12 internet. Oh man, that's terrible. It's not even getting any upload. How is this even working? Yeah, it says cannot connect to the internet. Oh man, okay. Guys, give me a second here. Let me just check what... I don't know what to do. Anyhow, I'm just going to read. And maybe what I should do is I should pre-record this and then just upload a video and make the video go live. Because this is really bad. That's terrible on the first day, man. Anyhow, what to do? I'm just going to start. So here's the introduction by Śrīla Bhakti Pramoda Purī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Actually, guys, give me a second. Let me just call this Shushanti up. If you don't mind waiting just 1 minute. Okay. Maybe actually while we wait, we can... No, I'll start. Okay. Okay. Just 1 second. हाँ, हरे कृष्णा. हाँ, इंटरनेट खूब धीरे धीरे चलছে মানে কাজ করে না. খুব ধীরে ধীরে. ঠিক আছে. Hare Krishna. Whatever. Okay, I'm just going to read now. The etymological development of the word aparad is radhat, arthat, aradhanat apagata. Aradhanat apagata, which means to be distanced from worship. Offenses committed at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, the devotees. Offenses committed at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, the devotees, distance one from devotional service to the Supreme Lord. But in a higher sense, It means to be removed from the service of Sri Radha. All divine service to Krishna is being conducted under her direction. To offend her servitors is to make one unfit for her divine service. Wow, this is really... To offend her servitors is to make one unfit for her divine service. The whole aim of Krishna consciousness is Radha Dasyam, the divine service of Sri Radha, and offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas make one unfit for such service. The Lord is overly protective of his devotees, Bhaktavatsal. He cannot tolerate any offenses against them. They have bhakti, devotion, and they can awaken it within us. Bhakti is the sole means to attract Krishna, who is a slave of devotion. The same is true of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Chaitanya Bhagavat states, a person can attain the shelter of Mahaprabhu only by the grace of a higher Vaishnav. Religious practices and even chanting the holy name without devotion is useless. Chanting the holy name without devotion is useless. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada writes in his commentary, without developing a spirit of service, chanting the holy name, real devotion can only be cultivated when one receives the blessings of an unalloyed devotee. Bhakti means devotion. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, if a person commits an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnav, even though he may have received Krishna's mercy, he will never attain divine love, prem. If a person commits an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, even though he has received Krishna's mercy, he will never attain divine love, prem. Srila Prabhupada writes, even if one is a Vaishnav, if he commits offenses to the holy name, he becomes unfit to render pure devotion. Although it may appear that he is still being shown favor by the Lord as he continues to make a show of chanting without difficulty, the Lord is actually very displeased with him because of his antagonism toward devotees. Whoa. Wow, so you can't tell where somebody's at just from seeing them. It may appear that he is still being shown favor by the Lord as he continues to make a show of chanting without difficulty, but actually the Lord is very displeased with him. Therefore, to give up nam aparad, we must first give up sadhu ninda, or finding fault with devotees. Regarding the phrase Krishna kripa hoi leo, even though he may receive Krishna's mercy, Srila Saraswati Thakur comments, people may think that because an offender appears to continue to chant without difficulty, the Lord must still favor him. But they are wrong. The Lord is not even slightly moved by their sham devotion. The author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur, says that these statements are not his alone. They are the verdict of the Vedas. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not tolerate any disrespect towards genuine Vaishnavas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also emphatically denounced any insults directed at Vaishnav devotees. To understand the seriousness of Vaishnava Aparad, offending devotees, one must grasp the multifaceted, multidimensional nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is the source of all incarnations of in Kali Yuga and the savior of all souls. He is Krishna, the son of Mahārāja Nanda, fully enriched with the mood and radiance of Sri Radha. One second, I just window because the kirtan's going to get me. Let me see. Okay. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī offers prayers to all of these manifestations in the preface of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Ishan Ishavatarakam Tad Prakasam Tachat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. It's the first verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. I offer my obeisances unto all the gurus, the devotees, the Lord's avatars, his expansions, his shaktis, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. In the same way that Mahaprabhu is Krishna, he expands as Nityananda Prabhu, Prakash, who is Balaram. Balaram's partial expansion is Sadashiv, Mahavishnu avatar, whose counterpart in Sri Chaitanya Lila is Advaita Acharya. What is left of Sri Radhika after Krishna has plundered her emotions and luster is Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Sri Gadadhar and Surup Damodar are his Shakti, his entities. Bhakta means Shivas Thakur, who is Sri Narad Muni in Krishna's Lila. Isha, divinity means Mahaprabhu himself. The complete conception of divinity must include the predominating moiety and the predominated moiety. Oh God, what is moiety? I can't look this up because I don't have a dictionary attached to this, but what I remember of it, it's like one thing, but it's divided into two, like two peas in a pod, kind of. I think it's something like that. Maybe Rup Manjari could, if she knows the definition better. It's like one thing that can be separated into two or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, the slightest disregard to any one of these is equal to disregarding the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. There are two aspects to the Guru principle. The Shiksha, Guru, and the Diksha, our initiating Guru. Both are represented in Shivas Thakur. In the beginning of the second chapter of the Antya Lila of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers the following invocation. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya-lila 2:1. I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Guru and to all the preceptors on the path of devotion. I offer my obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, unto Sri Rupa Goswami and his associates, Raghunath Das Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my obeisances to Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Avadut, Gadadhar Pandit, and to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his devotees, headed by Srivas Thakur. I then offer my obeisances to the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, and all the gopis headed by Lalita and Vishaka. First verse of Antya Lila. In the above invocatory prayers, the Mangalacharan, the Vaishnavas are venerated. Kaviraj Goswami writes further, before beginning the narration of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, simply by meditating on Sri Guru, the Vaishnavas, and divinity, I invoke their benediction. Such meditation destroys all detriments on the spiritual path and helps one to fulfill all their desires. We must note very carefully that the Vaishnavas have been included within the full conception of divinity. These writings describe the Vaishnavas' extraordinary qualities and the spiritual benefits resulting from serving them. There are also several warnings regarding the disastrous effects of Vaishnava aparad. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19.156 states, if a devotee commits Vaishnava aparad, his offense is like a mad elephant uprooting and trampling his creeper of devotion. Afterwards, the creeper's leaves dry up and become lifeless. There are three categories of Vaishnavas: Kanishta, neophyte; Madhyam, intermediate; and Uttam, advanced, described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kaviraj Goswami states that to gain shelter of a Vaishnava, it is imperative to first receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. All of the Vaishnavas who live in Vrindavan are absorbed in singing the all-auspicious name of Shri Krishna. Shri Mahaprabhu and Nityananda are their life and soul. They do not know anything but devotion to Shri Radha and Krishna. My shelter at the Vaishnav's lotus feet has been granted only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Where is this from? Okay, it's Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada corroborates this fact. All the Vaishnavas living in the holy Dham of Sri Vrindavan are very fortunate souls. They have taken shelter in the holy name of Krishna. Sriman Mahaprabhu and Nityananda are their life and soul. They know nothing but the eternal service of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a Nitya Siddha, an eternal associate of the Lord, instructs the devotees to pray to Mahaprabhu. He says that we should seek shelter in the shade of the Vaishnav's lotus feet, shed tears of remorse with total humility, submitting to them the plight of our material existence, which is the result of turning away from Krishna. I'm just curious, in the Bengali book, does it give the verses for these? It does. Anyhow. Whatever, anyhow. Tomorrow I'll be more prepared and I can read the verses as well. Okay. The Vaishnava is an ocean of compassion and feels the pain of others. When he pleads on our behalf to the Lord, Krishna responds and kindly accepts us.
Here's what I found.
Oops, sorry. When he pleads on our behalf to the Lord, Krishna responds and kindly accepts us as the followers of his favorites. Krishna's mercy descends only through the Vaishnavas. There is Krishna and Karshna. Krishna's mercy is embodied in pure devotees who are known as Karshna. The lotus feet of a Vaishnav Guru represents the mercy of the Lord. Krishna is the priceless treasure enthroned in Sri Guru's heart. The Lord can easily give this treasure to those who are surrendered to his devotees. There is no other way to receive Krishna's grace than to serve and take shelter at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Sri Kaviraj Goswāmī discusses the importance of honoring the Vaishnav's remnants, using the example of Sri Kalidas, the uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. I didn't know Kalidas was the uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. Taking the food remnants of Vaishnavas is so potent, it forced Mahaprabhu to give his mercy to Kalidas. Don't hesitate. Eat the Vaishnav's remnants, and you will fulfill your heart's desire. Food offered to Krishna is called Mahaprasadam. After Mahaprasadam is taken by a devotee, his remnants are glorified as Mahaprasadam. The dust of a pure devotee's feet, the water of his foot bath, and his food remnants are three extremely potent spiritual substances. By honoring these three, one will be filled with ecstatic love for Sri Krishna. All the scriptures declare this again and again. My dear devotees, please hear me. Believe in these three and honor them in a mood of service, and you will achieve the purpose of your existence, ecstatic love of Krishna. This is the greatest mercy of Krishna. And Kalidas is living proof. Yeah, in this Bengali book, in the original Bengali, this book is called, it's just called Vaishnava Parad by Srila Bhakti Purī Goswāmī, and it gives all the Chaitanya Charitamrita verses for all this. These are all the translations. It's nice to read the Bengali also, but anyhow. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, "When will Mahaprabhu shower his mercy upon me, so that I may have shelter in the shade of the Vaishnav's lotus feet? I will humbly stand before the Vaishnav holding a straw between my teeth. Weeping, I will tell him of my miserable life, and I shall give up all self-deception. I will admit that my life is one never-ending misery, and beg him to put an end to all of this. The kind Vaishnav will beg Sri Krishna with all his might, and Krishna, moved by the Vaishnav's sincerity, will shower his divine grace. Should we sing this song? We can sing the song after. That's Kavi Shri Chaitanya Mori Kori Bena Doya. Yeah, let's sing that after. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, O Vaishnav, you are an ocean of mercy. Please shower your compassion upon me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify my polluted heart. I am following you. I am following you begging. Shri Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. You have the power. Give him to me. Sharanagati. Narottam Das Thakur sings a similar song. I am so sinful. How can I possibly serve the Lord? I have no love for my Guru. I have no love for the devotees, and I am constantly deluded. I am so absorbed in material life that I have forgotten who I am. The witch Maya is waiting to hang a noose around my neck. I have no power to resist her on my own. I am helpless without your mercy. I know that you never see the faults of anyone, so I am begging you, please save me. Is this Kirupe Paibo Seva Mui Durachar? I think so. Okay, we'll be singing all these songs every day. All these different Vaishnava songs. So. Narottam's songs are filled with wonderful glorification of Vaishnavas. They are treasured by all devotees as priceless instructions for increasing one's devotion. From his childhood, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada chose Narottam's songbook as his constant companion on the path of devotion. Vrindavan Das Thakur considered himself to be the last direct servant of Nityananda Prabhu. He has glorified the Vaishnavas throughout his masterpiece, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. In his introduction, he writes, I first of all offer my unlimited obeisances at the feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya's dearest associates, the devotees. And then I pray to him, who appeared in Navadvip and was also known as Vishvambar. Only after first offering his unlimited obeisances to Mahaprabhu's associates, the devotees, then he prays to Mahaprabhu. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur offers his humble obeisances unto Mahaprabhu's devotees, and then to Mahaprabhu. He explains, the Supreme Lord has boldly declared in all the scriptures that worship of my devotees is samuchai. If one wants God's mercy, he must first serve his devotees. Only this will satisfy the Lord. Of this, there is no doubt. The following verse from the Poshayana Shruti is quoted in Srila Madhvacharya's commentary on the Brahma Sutra. Worship the devotees, serve them, hear from them, and they will protect you. The Mundaka Upanishad states, if you want the real treasure of liberation, you must serve the Lord's pure devotee. In his Govinda Bhashya commentary, Srila Baldev Vijibhushan quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam. Jnane prayasamudupasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritan bhavadiya vartan stane stita shutigatam tanubang manobhir ye prayasho jita jito pyasitais trilokyam. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.3. Brahma prayed to Krishna, my dear Lord, those who have given up abstract thinking and armchair philosophizing start hearing about you from devotees and begin divine service with their body, mind, and words. Although you are unconquerable and rarely attained, you are conquered by them. In the Padma Puran, Shiva says to his wife Parvati, O goddess, higher than the worship of all the gods and goddesses is the worship of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. But higher still is the worship of everyone and everything that is dear to him, including Ganga Devi, Tulsi Devi, the book Bhagavat, and the devotee Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das cautions us against seeing Vaishnavas externally. Such superficial vision is condemned. In order to teach us the absurdity of judging devotees externally according to race, color, family, or other considerations, the Supreme Lord arranged for Haridas Thakur to take birth in the lowest section of society. All the scriptures emphasize that if a pure devotee appears even in the lowest social circumstances, he is still to be worshipped by everyone. A Vaishnav may appear in any family or section of society, yet he is still the most elevated person by the decree of the scriptures. God is the protector of all living entities, and he cannot tolerate insults and disrespect shown to his devotees. Extremely mindful of his dear devotees' well-being, he refuses to accept any worship from those who slight them. The Lord loves his devotees so much that he not only accepts foods and gifts from them, but sometimes he even steals their offerings, whereas he is repulsed by offerings from a non-devotee. In one pastime, Krishna was very eager to eat plain chipped rice cooked by Vidura's wife, and he ignored a royal feast set by Duryodhana. Similarly, the Lord could not resist eating a few morsels of flat rice offered by Sudama. He told him, "O Brahman, what wonderful thing have you brought for me from your home? Even a small offering from a devotee is a grand festival for me, whereas a non-devotee's feast cannot satisfy me in the least. Anything offered to me with love, I accept with love." Sriman Mahaprabhu quotes from the Itihas Samuchaya, recorded by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj. A person may learn all the Vedas, but if he has no devotion, how can he be my devotee? Whereas a person born into the lowest section of society, if a person born into the lowest section of society has devotion, he is very dear to me. All respect must be given to such an elevated soul. His offerings must be accepted by all, for he is as much worthy of worship as I am. Mahaprabhu also quotes Hari Bhakti Sudodhai. A Brahman's sins are burnt to ashes by the powerful fire of Krishna Bhakti. Whereas if a Vedic scholar is an atheist, he is derided. Anyone devoid of devotion may take birth in a great family or nation, have extensive knowledge of the scriptures, perform austerities, or chant Vedic mantras, but such things are like ornaments on a dead body. What is it? Mandanam Lokaranjanam. Only fools will be impressed. Lokaranjanam. When Mahaprabhu went to embrace Haridas Thakur, with all humility, Haridas said to him, "My dear Lord, please do not touch me. I am most fallen, the lowest of men." Mahaprabhu replied, I want to touch you just to purify myself. You are so pure. It is as if at every moment you are bathing in all the sacred rivers, visiting all the places of pilgrimage, and performing every sacrifice, austerity, and charity imaginable. You are more exalted than any Brahman or sannyasi. The Lord then recited this shlok from the Srimad Bhagavatam. One who always chants your holy name, even though born in the worst circumstances, is a saint. We can understand that he must have performed all austerities and sacrifices, bathed in all the holy rivers, and mastered the Vedas. Therefore, he is a true Aryan, one who is pure. Oh, what shloka is that? Aho batasva pachato gariyan yad jivagre vartate namatubhyam te puste pas juvus nasur arya brahmanachur nama grananti ete. In the Padma Puran, Uttarakhanda, it is declared, when a person is admitted into Vishnu's family, he is called a Vaishnav. It has been said that of all people, the Vaishnava is certainly the most exalted. The Dwarka Mahatma states, a person who is devoted to Janardhan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a saint even if he is born into a low-class family. Whereas if a person is born into an aristocratic family of noble lineage and is not a devotee of the Lord, he is of bad blood. Any association with non-Vaishnavas or with Brahmins who lack devotion is categorically denounced. The Padma Puran states, the association of meat-eaters is strictly prohibited because their lifestyle goes against scriptural regulations. In the same manner, contact with a non-Vaishnav, whereas a Vaishnav who is initiated and who is affectionate to the Lord and his devotees, even if born into a low-class family, is capable of purifying all the three worlds. Vrindavan Das says that intimate association with non-Vaishnavas, regardless of their parentage, is suicidal. According to the Padma Puran, the characteristics of a Vaishnava are as follows. One who is dedicated to worshipping Vishnu, who has received initiation into a Vishnu mantra, is classified as a Vaishnava by spiritual preceptors. All others are non-Vaishnavas. Grinito Vishnu Diksha ko Vishnu Puja Karo Nara. It's something like that. That's actually, we skipped this verse. Maybe we should learn this verse, Rupamanjari. I don't know. It's from Hari Bhakti Vilas 155. Those who are simple, I was talking about our shloka program. But those who are simply born into a Brahmin family but are non-Vaishnavas and who are inimical towards Vishnu and Vaishnavas are condemned. Vrindavan Das cries out against these namesake Brahmins, citing the Varaha Puran. In Kali Yuga, demons will be born in Smarta Brahmin families to harass and torture the righteous devotees of the Lord. The demons choose Kali Yuga to be born in so that they can torment. The demons choose Kali Yuga to be born in so that they can torment those rare persons who adhere to the path enunciated by the Vedas, Shruti. They viciously attempt to disrupt the devotee's service to the Supreme Lord. These Brahmin impostors view Vaishnavas who have a bad background with contempt. They scoff at their spiritual practices, or when they see them receive honor and respect. They vainly try to expose the Vaishnavas' backgrounds and other mundane trivialities. The Brihad Aranakya Shruti describes them saying, One who leaves the world fully understanding the absolute truth is honored as a Brahmin, but one who does not has wasted his life. According to Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj, not only should one not consider the form of God to be mundane, but the same is true of his devotees. As written by Krishna Dvaipayan Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no greater blasphemy than to think the body of Vishnu is material. And Mahaprabhu says, the Vaishnav's body is never mundane, it is supermundane, and it is supercharged with ecstasy. The use of the term Atma Sama does not imply that pure devotees are equal to the Supreme Lord in every respect. The Supreme Lord is the only one who possesses transcendental qualities to an infinite degree. The jiva can only possess these qualities to a finite degree. Mahaprabhu says, the finite and the infinite can never be considered equal, just as a tiny spark is never equal to a fire. The following verse is found in the Bhagavat Sandarbha and also in Sridhar Swami's commentary to the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Supreme Lord is the embodiment of eternality, knowledge, and bliss. Two of his multifarious spiritual energies are Ladini Shakti, the pleasure-giving potency, and Sambit, the perfect knowledge of the self and all other things, while the jivas are cocooned in ignorance and deeply anchored in suffering. Whoa. Let me read that one more time. Only by taking complete shelter of Sri Radhika and her serving group, the Ladini Shakti, can we realize our innate spiritual identity and service to the holy lotus feet of Sri Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj explains further why a pure Vaishnava's body is aprakrit, or supermundane. This is an important verse. It's Diksha Kale Krishna Kore Kore Atmasam, She Kale Krishna Tare. No, oops, sorry. What is it? Anyhow. At the time of Diksha initiation, the devotee surrenders to Krishna with body and soul. In reciprocation, Krishna accepts him, elevating him, body and soul, to a status equal to his own. Kore Atmasama. Yeah. The Lord transforms the devotee. The Vaishnava's body and makes it a repository of transcendental emotions. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 8, 192, 193. I wish we could see these verses anyhow. I don't know why they've been all taken out, the Sanskrit and Bengali. He then quotes the Srimad Bhagavatam. When people reject materialism and conduct their lives under my direction, they attain immorality. They become eligible to be with me and share spiritual emotions, ras with me in their spiritual identity. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:29-34. But what is meant by surrender? Śrīla Saraswati Prabhupada writes in his Anubhashya commentary. But what is meant by surrender? Śrīla Saraswati Prabhupada writes in his Anubhashya commentary. Although one who has completely renounced the world, Akinchana, and one who is completely sheltered in Krishna, Sharanagat, may appear to be the same externally. Let me reread this. Although one who has completely renounced the world and one who is completely sheltered in Krishna, so one who is a Kinchan and one who is Sharanagat, may appear to be the same externally, the devotee who has given up the world has also offered his soul. At the time of initiation, the devotee gives up material conceptions while he begins to understand Sambandha Gyan, one's eternal relationship with God and those who are part of the family of God. When the devotee gives up the shelter of Maya, he takes shelter of Krishna and is Krishnized. At this stage, the devotee's delusion as enjoyer of material pleasures dissipates, and his real self emerges with his new identity as an eternal servant of Krishna. The devotee attains his spiritual body, Satchidananda Swarup, and his eternal service to Krishna, serving him in his own transcendental form. The pure devotee's ecstatic service is an elevated stage of devotion, which is often misinterpreted and misunderstood by those unacquainted with the science of devotion. For this kind of aparad, one is deprived of the shelter of a Vaishnav Guru. It's from Anubhashya Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 4:193. Mahaprabhu taught everyone that a Vaishnav's transcendental body is unlike that of an ordinary person or even an extraordinary person. The Lord did not view personalities like Haridas Thakur, who took birth in a low-class family, or Sanatan Gosvāmī, whose body was diseased, or Vasudeva Vipra, who was suffering from acute leprosy, as social outcasts or disease-ridden beggars. Instead, he embraced them, proving that a pure devotee's body is never impure. The pure devotee's body is transcendental, infused with spiritual bliss, and best suited to serve Krishna. As the Lord himself says, Mad Bhakta Pujabhyadika Sarva Bhuteshu Manmati. The worship of my devotees is the real worship of me. In fact, it is higher than worshipping my very self. My dear devotees, please read and listen carefully to the divine stories and instructions that follow, and pray to the Supreme Lord and his devotees, the Vaishnavas, that we may always worship and adore them, and thereby enter the heart of Krishna. The worship of my devotees is the real worship of me. In fact, it is higher than worshipping my very self. One can chant the holy name birth after birth, but if one is chanting with offenses, he will never love Krishna or experience taste for the holy name. So tomorrow we will read about the Vaishnav king, Ambarish Mahārāja. A whole bunch this whole time. Anyhow, so now since today is the ending day of Keshav Vrat, I'm going to sing Vrindadevashtakam and Keshavashtakam. But yeah, this is really beautiful, huh? Very important. All these verses that you're quoting, these are all like ones to memorize. They're all really very common verses. But anyhow, where is it? Vrindadevashtakam. They just now started Gaur Arti. It's 9 o'clock because they just finished doing the decorating Thakurji with Chandan. I'll take a picture. They just opened up the DD doors just now. I'll take a picture and show you guys tomorrow. Gange achampe atarir venende roche pravaha snapitatma vrende bandhu ka bandhu dyuti divyavaso vrende namaste charanaravendam Bimbadharode Tvaramandahasya Nasagramukta Dyuti Depitase Vichitaratna Bharana Shiyade Vrinde Namaste Charanaravendam Samasta Vaikunta Shiromanashe Krishna Savrinda Vanadanya Dhamni Dattadikare Vrishabhano Putra Vrinde Namaste Charanaravenda Tvaragaya Pallava Pushpa Vrinda Vrigati Virmadhavate Nikunja Madhvadi Virpanti Vibhushamana Vrinde Namaste Charanaravendam Tadiyadutena Nikunjayuno Ratyutkayogeli Vilasasedi Tvatsovagam Kena Niruchatam Tadvrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Rasa Bhilasho Vasateshcha Vrinda Vane Tvaresham Visaroja Seva Labhya Chapumsam Kripaya Taivaiva Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Tam Kirta Sesa Tvatatantra Virvir Lila Bhitana Kila Krishna Shaktis Tavaiva Murtis Tulasi Niloke Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Laksha Ikshiptashtakamatitaranga Madhya Akripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanam Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Vrindashtakamya Shinuyat Patirva Vrindavanadesha Padabja Vrinda Saprapya Vrindavana Nityavasa Tat Prema Seva Labhate Kritartha Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Vrinda Devi Vrinda Devi Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Tulsi Mahārāni Jaya Vrinda Devi Tulsi Mahārāni Jaya Vrinda Devi. Now, Shri Keshavashtakam by Srila Rupa Gosvāmī. This is the last time we're singing this. Navapriyakamanjari. Should we read the translation just because it's the last time? Let's do that, huh? Wearing beautiful earrings wrought from clusters of new kadamba buds, a brilliant wreath of fully blossoming malati jasmine crowning his head, and across his chest, a captivating garland strung from utica jasmine that is blooming ever so slightly. He returns from the forest lands of Braj like a victor marching home. That Keshav I worship. Pishangi, Manikastani, Pranatashingi, Pingikshane, Mridangamukhi, Dhumale, Dhumale, Shabali, Hamsi, Vangshi Priye. I worship Keshav as he returns to Braj from the forest lands, moving to and fro, cheerfully calling out to his divine Surabhi cows. Tender in their bosom bond of friendship, they are all veritable reservoirs of tasteful cowherd boy humor, as well as experts in singing, dancing, arts, and sports, mingling now in an array of splendid outfits on the paths into Braj. I serve that Keshav who, with his words, makes these friends of his laugh with all of their hearts as they return from the forest pastures. Beads of perspiration gently lick his cheeks, which have been painted with charming designs of budding leaves using fragrant mineral colors. Gold, red, white, and blue. This is Baladeva Vibhushan's commentary. He writes what colors they are. Gold, red, white, and blue. Collected from the hills of Giriraj Govardhan. All the words in parentheses are from Baladeva Vibhushan. So while his restless curling locks of hair mock a lustrous swarm of bees, I worship that Keshav as he returns to Braj from the forests. Eager to see their newborn calves, who are now safely restrained back in the Goshta village of Braj, many of the white Dhavala cows dash ahead, carving up the earth with the points of their hooves. I worship that Keshav who is quick to summon them back to the front of the herd with the soft, melodious tones of his flute as he proceeds back to Braj from the forests. I worship that Keshav as he returns to Braj from the forest, deftly beautifying the roads with countless footprints, distinct with auspicious markings of flag, thunderbolt, etc., while the restless cows run ahead, kicking up so much dust that it covers his garland of forest flowers, making it look a dark reddish gray. The gentle waves of the breeze ruffles the hem of his pitambar and the tips of his peacock feather crown. From a distance, the sweet, low sound of the long Murali flute he uses in his playful pastimes delights the hearts of all the ladies of Braj, those ladies of his mother's age, who are in their homes, and causes the hair on their limbs to stand on end. Krishna's return, like a festival, has everyone excited. Thus, again and again, increasing the bliss in the heart of the Queen of Braj, his mother Yashoda, he returns from the forest to Braj. I worship that Keshav. Rushing up to the path, the multitudes of beautiful girls. So first we were hearing about those in Vatsalya Ras, the older ladies, the older gopis. Now we're hearing about Madhur Ras. Rushing up to the path, the multitudes of beautiful girls, like so many goddesses of fortune, worship him with budding smiles and hundreds of dancing crooked sidelong glances, while his eyes, like honeybees, rove around the edges of their breasts, which are adorned with stunning blouses, appear to be bouquets of blossoming flowers. I worship that Keshav as he returns to Braj from the forests. This is a grand festival of delight for the hosts of cowherd girls. If a person following the proper process of bhajan reads and recites this 8-part poem profusely, then may the bosom friend of Vishaka endow him with brilliant intelligence, grant him unwavering love, rati or bhav, for his lotus feet, and thereby delight him for all time. Navapriyaka manjari rachita karna purashiyam vinidratara malati kalita shekare nojvalam Darojvasita yutika Kratita valguvaikakshaka Vraje vijayinam bhaje Vipina deshata keshava Vishangi manikastani Pranata shringi pinge kshane Vridanga mukhi dhumale Shavaliham Sivangshe Priye Iti Sasurabhikulam Taralamavayantam Mura Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Aghana Pranaya Meturan Madhura Narma Goshti Kala Vilasa Nilayan Milad Vivida Vesha Vedotina Sakena Kila Saraya Patishuhasayantam Gira Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Shamambukanika Bali Daravilira Gandantara Samura Giri Dhatuvir Likita Charupantram Puram Udancharali Mandali Tyutividam Vivakralaka Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Nibadda Navatarnaka Validilotkanotkhantaya Nathat Kura Putanchalar Alugubir Bhubam Bhendate Kalena Davala Khatam Lagunirvartayantam Puro Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Padankatati Virparam Virachayantam Advashriya Chalattarala Naichiki Nichaya Doli Domra Sraja Marola Hari Chanchali Krita Dukola Choranchala Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Vilasa Murali Kala Dvani Virola Sanmanasa Kshanara Kila Pallavi Pulakayantamantargrihe Muhur Vidadatan Hridi Pramuditan Shagoштeshware Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Upeta Pati Sundari Tati Virabhya Abhyarchita Smitam Kurakaram Pitar Natarapanga Pangeshatar Stanastavaka Sanchara Nayana Chanchari Kanchala Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Idam Nikila Pallavi Kula Mahotsavolasana Kramena Kilaya Puman Patati Shushtu Padyashtaka Tamujvala Diyam Sada Nijapadara Vindadvaye Ratenda Dada Chanchala Sukayatar Vishaka Saka Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshava raje vijay na baje vipina deshata keshava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jai Jagannatha Baladeva Jai Subhadra Devi Jai Sudarshan Jai Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadra Devi, Jaya Sudarshana, Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe, Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe, Jaya Giri Raja Govardhana, Giri Raja Jaya Govardhana, Jaya Giri Raja Jaya Govardhana, Giri Raja Jaya Govardhana, Jaya Gurudeva 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 Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva 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 Jaya Guru Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Shishi Guru Gaurangandavika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govana Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vishnupad Ashatara Shatashmad Shala Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Shala Gurudeva Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vishnupad Ashatara Shatashmad Shala Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vishnupad Ashatara Shatashmad Shala Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Shala Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vishnupad Ashatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vishnupad Ashatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Mahabhagavat Aksharas Prabhuji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Prabhuji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Srila Baladev Vijabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Natham Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Char Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Prasad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Prata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Muna Devi Kanga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Nitla Bhavishta Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Pramoda Purī Goswami Mahārāja Ki Jai Shri Akshay Tritiya Ki Jai Shri Parshuram Jayanti Ki Jai Shri Gauriya Vedanta Samiti Stapan Divas Ki Jai Shri what else? Satyayuga Pratham Divas Ki Jai, first day of Satyayuga. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagat Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Akshay Tritiya Titi Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namah Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Danda Pranams. So, actually, the introduction is a lot longer than all the other chapters. The other chapters are pretty short. And for the next chapters today, I wasn't able to prepare, as I mentioned before. My friend came and anyways, right before it was time, he left right when it was time for me to start reading, pretty much. That's why I was a couple minutes late even. But tomorrow I want to, I don't know, just read up a little bit anyhow, hopefully I'll be able to read a little bit better tomorrow. One thing though, I just wanted to end with this very important, this sentence here. It really stood out to me. This seems like this is the real, like, okay, this is just from the first paragraph. So in a higher sense, Vaishnava Parad means to be removed from the service of Sri Radha. All divine service to Krishna is being conducted under her direction. To offend her servitors is to make one unfit for her divine service. The whole aim of Krishna consciousness is Radha Dasyam, the divine service of Sri Radha. And offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas make one unfit for such service. I think I'm going to share that on Facebook. That's so good. All right, I'm really looking forward to delving into these important stories, but very inspiring with you tomorrow. All right, Dandavat Haribol. Thank you, Manjari. And Dandavat pronouns Pramila Didi. Haribol, Prajumna Prabhu, Dandavat pronouns Haribol. Jai Prajumna Prabhu, Haribol. Okay.